Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's explainer on the Strategic Wealth Roadmap for 2026. Imagine checking your savings account right now and realizing something deeply uncomfortable. You did everything the financial gurus told you was right, but when you look closely, your financial life has barely moved. Well, today, we're going to fix that. You probably built incredible discipline, right? You aggressively avoided that infamous latte factor, you packed your lunch, and you consistently sent money straight to your savings account. And yeah, you watched that balance grow over the years. Yet, despite all of that effort and sacrifice, there's this lingering, frustrating feeling that you're just standing perfectly still. The reason you're feeling that way is because the economic landscape is rapidly shifting right beneath your feet. If your money is just parked passively in a traditional savings account, it's quietly losing ground. Between inflation eating away at your purchasing power and these new shifting tax floors, simply hoarding cash, it's just no longer enough to build real wealth. So here's our roadmap for today. First, why passive saving is broken. Then, the 2026 wealth buckets, navigating the new tax landscape, maximizing your account limits, and we'll wrap up with some advanced tactics. All right, Section 1, passive saving is now broken. For literally decades, the basic survival mantra was so simple. Spend less, save more, and just repeat. But today, we're facing a fundamental shift away from that old model of accumulation, where a giant pile of cash was the final destination. The 2026 reality is all about allocation. You literally have to give every single specific dollar an active job. We really need to totally reframe how we look at savings. It's not a static account balance that you just stare at to feel safe. Your savings are stored decisions. They are stored flexibility and stored future choices. When you flip your mindset to see it that way, your savings become this dynamic tool that stores opportunity and gives you massive resilience against whatever curveballs life throws at you. Moving right along to Section 2, the 2026 wealth buckets. To pivot effectively, you've got to stop thinking of your savings as one giant pile of idle cash. Instead, split your money into 4 specific jobs. Bucket 1 is protection. This is 3 to 6 months of core expenses, designed strictly to buy you time during emergencies without panicking. Bucket 2 is flexibility. This is your opportunity money. It lets you move cities or change careers from a position of absolute strength. Bucket 3 is growth. This money has to sit in compounding assets to increase your future purchasing power. And bucket 4 is acceleration. These are your income multipliers, where you invest in your own skills or equipment to drastically boost your future earnings. Okay, so how do we actually put this into practice? 4 simple steps. Step 1, keep the floor. Never ever destabilize your core emergency fund. Step 2, audit your idle cash across all your checking and savings accounts just to see what's lazily sitting there. Step 3, assign percentages to the 4 buckets we just discussed. And step 4, automate the movement of your money to completely remove decision friction. Set it and let it run. Now, a sample allocation might look a little something like this. Say, 35% in protection, 20% in flexibility, 35% in growth, and 10% in acceleration. Obviously, these percentages are going to vary wildly depending on what life stage you're currently in. The crucial point here is intentionality. It really doesn't matter if your numbers look exactly like this. What matters is that every single dollar is intentionally assigned to a specific slice of the pie. Section 3, navigating the 2026 tax landscape. You can't actively position your money if you're ignoring the recent legislative changes, specifically the mechanics of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, or OBBBA. The impacts here are massive. First, the standard deduction has jumped significantly. We're talking $32,200 for married couples and $16,100 for individuals. The state and local tax, or SALT limit, has also been pushed way up to $40,000. And if you're 65 or older, there's a brand new senior boost providing an extra $6,000 deduction on top of everything else. These provisions critically alter the math on whether you should itemize your taxes or just take the standard deduction this year. All of this perfectly encapsulates our core philosophy here, moving away from just saving towards smart positioning. And hey, if this explainer is helping you see your money in a completely new light, go ahead and subscribe to Langford Invests. It really is the best place for expert-level, hype-free financial thinking. Let's jump into Section 4, maximizing 2026 account limits. To fill those new buckets efficiently, you absolutely have to leverage the updated IRS contribution limits. $24,500.
That is your new base limit for 401k and 403b contributions in 2026. And if you're 50 or older, you get an extra $8,000 catch-up contribution. Maxing this out is hands down one of the most powerful moves you can make to lower your taxable income while aggressively filling your growth bucket.
Next up is what I like to call the HSA triple threat. If you've got a high deductible health plan, the health savings account is arguably the single most powerful account in existence. Why? Because it offers 3 unmatched benefits. Your contributions are tax deductible, the money grows tax-free, and withdrawals for medical costs are 100% tax-free. For 2026, you can park up to $4,400 as an individual, or $8,750 for a family, right here. It's an absolute game changer. We also have some brand new generational wealth vehicles on the table this year. The 2026 update introduces Trump accounts for children under 18. These function kind of like IRAs, allowing up to $5,000 a year in contributions. But the kicker, they don't require the child to have earned income, and eligible children receive a $1,000 federal seed contribution. Also, 529 plans have seen a massive expansion, doubling the limit to $20,000 per year for primary and secondary school expenses, which now includes things like digital tools and testing fees. And finally, Section 5, Advanced Tactics and Accounts. This brilliantly illustrates how putting the exact right assets in the exact right accounts protects your after-tax returns. Financial pros use a strategy called fill first. Look, a lot of people put the right assets in the wrong accounts. To be truly tax efficient, you want to fill your tax-deferred IRAs with your high-tax investments, things like taxable corporate bonds and active mutual funds that spin off capital gains. Then, anchor your standard taxable brokerage accounts with highly tax-efficient buy-and-hold ETFs. By locating these assets properly, you're shielding your highest tax gains from the IRS. Another really fantastic defensive tactic is tax loss harvesting. You can strategically sell underperforming assets at a loss to offset your capital gains, and you can even use up to $3,000 of those losses to offset your ordinary income. But you have to be super careful with this timeline. You must strictly avoid the wash sale rule. If you sell on day 1, you have to wait a full 30 days without buying a substantially identical asset. Actually, to be safe, you cannot repurchase until day 31, or the IRS will completely disallow your tax deduction. As we pull all of this together, think of this as your 2026 savings dashboard. Use this as your monthly check-in. Ask yourself, is your emergency fund healthy? Are your cash levels intentional? Is growth maxed out? Is your opportunity fund ready to go? Are you actively improving your income? Remember, small, gradual financial pivots always beat extreme, dramatic resets that just end up leading to burnout and regret. So I'm going to leave you with this final, somewhat provocative thought. Don't just stare at a high number on a screen just to feel safe. Ask yourself, what should my savings make possible? Use your money to expand your options, not just to hoard cash. If you enjoyed this explainer and it gave you a fresh way to think about your wealth, hit that subscribe button and leave a comment below with the one savings pivot you're making this year. See you next time.
Thanks for watching. If this gave you a new way to think about your wealth, subscribe to Langford Invests. Leave a comment below with the one savings move you're making this year, and I'll see you in the next one.